Okie dokie, I'm back in the room, video 3. What I want to do now is show you a technique I have for detailing with more finesse than just dragging an alpha, the look of the skin on the face. I'm actually going to use Mask by Polypaint again, so I'm going to jump in now and do a little bit of painting. I won't put you through it, I'll just come back when I've done it. There we go. I actually went in and painted some green lines, obviously where I want the creases to be. So we go into Mask by Polypaint, zoom in. It's going to be a bit clunky, it's the high poly model at the moment. What we're going to try and do is grab one of the swatches and sample the green. I also went in there and painted the inside of the mouth blue so we can mask that when we're detailing the rest of the head. So try and seize upon the green. It's okay. Turn off RGB so we can see the mask. It's not as sharp as I want, so what I might do is step it down. Okay, attempt number 2. This is the subdivision level next to the highest, and we should get a better, yes, that's what we're after. Invert the mask, just with the normal standard pen with a negative value. Draw over the surface, just pushing in the geometry exposed by the mask. I'm going to use another technique soon, but this is just a great way of defining the shape before you do anything more definite. Okay, just using some smoothing. Now I'm speeding up this part because it is a process that I can spend far too much time on. It'll just bore you rigid. So we're using inflate and smooth just to establish that really thick, leathery, folded look to the skin. Okay, we're going to transition to using a mixture of Dam Standard and the Carve brush to really make these details pop. Right, so it's just a constant mix of smoothing and inflating. And now I'm using variations of the Dam Standard brush, just with different alphas. You can go in and make the alpha, change the contrast so you get a sharper edge. It's just a spontaneous process of sketching on the surface. And the harder you try to do this, the worse it looks. It's just keeping it free and loose, and just enjoy yourself. If you try and slavishly follow reference, I mean, I've looked at the Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptors a few times, and just, if you slavishly try and copy every scale, you'll get lost, you go crazy. Try and make it your own. I'm resisting using smooth and inflate at this point. I'm going to try and cover the most of the head. Just going in with the clay build-up brush there just to emphasize those little nodule-y things. Did a slight smooth there. I'm keeping symmetry across the snout just for this. I think this process of doing the head took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just to give you an idea of how fast this has been speeded up. Now you could have gone in with the alphas again. You could have just layered larger alphas with the wrinkles, then gone with smaller ones. But the effect isn't the same. These human touches that I'm doing now, they kind of resonate as being something other than an automated process. And I work with people that say, oh, this could be done in Mari, and we could do procedural this and that and the other. And for me, it looks procedural. It looks automated. If I'm trying to replicate the look of something that was sculpted by Stan Winston artists, they may well have used texture stamps in the clay. They went to the trouble of sculpting in one of these, so I'm going to do the same. Now I'm just using some masking while I'm here. You invert, then use your inflate. Get a really nice fold of skin. You get some weight to your form. Now I did notice on the reference there were some very distinct scales over the eye. It's weird to think that Jurassic Park's over 20 years old. And I've been working with paleontologists on modern day reconstructions of velociraptors, and they look nothing like you'd expect. They look like angry geese. And they're so small as well. It's a constant mix of that technique of etching, smoothing, inflating. And I do find it kind of frustrating when I look back at my own work, especially when it's speeded up like this. I'm seeing things I wish I'd done differently. I suppose that's something I respect in other people. If you kind of arrogantly think, oh, I nailed that. You have to have a flexibility with your work. Show humility and ask other people's opinion. If you're in a studio, if you just sit back and say, well, there you go, I've done it, you won't be popular. I actually love collaborating with other artists, especially other Zbrush artists. That's great. I did many years working freelance, just myself and a cat. Almost lost the ability to speak. But of late I've been teaching a lot, working in studios, and it's really good to actually share technique with people. Zbrush still horrifies Max and Maya users though. They just think it's smoke and mirrors. Doesn't make sense to them. So going back in now with that original alpha, the one we tested the body with. Just finish off the bottom of the jaw. Now I'm masking by cavity there, just so when I use the inflate it retains the shape of the wrinkles. Again, it's smooth, inflate. Just switching up materials so you can see it fresh. It's just always nice to have fresh eyes. And here again, it's the same tileable alpha just dragged over the surface just to break up that flatness and smoothness. I'm using the drag rectangle with this alpha, but you could even go in with spray just to add noise, but controllable noise. Right, get this eye done. I do hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying making them at the moment. And like many people, I've had a change of circumstance with work, with furlough schemes and God knows what. So please feel free to leave comments, ask questions, I'll answer every one you ask. It's like therapy for me doing the scales. Really enjoy it. But on the next videos, we'll tackle some more detailed areas with the feet and hands. And we'll prep the model for polypaint.